No, there's another place. Burger. I was like, I'm good. I'm good off that.
No, not the burger, but I'll take the 4-inch deep, extra cheesy.
That jaw had pepperoni and sausage on it.
You got the meat version. You greedy. Big and greedy, bro.
Oh, man. That jaw was perfect.
That's a good segue into the episode of like, it's just my voice is cracked. I don't know if you noticed, but my voice cracked like 3 times in the last episode. No, that's a good segue actually. Now you got to travel. Actually, a lot more people meal prep now than I thought. You've seen the TikTok. I've seen people just whip out chicken cutlet bags.
More now than when we were in college. Actually.
And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like chicken cutlet in the it's so smart because then you don't have to spend. He's cheating. It's okay. Well, we're gonna test it out this episode, and we'll see what the audience says.
Oh no, this is.
There's nothing there. That's
Watch, the phone's gonna go off at some
I can't even see that. Put my glasses on to match you this episode. I changed my outfit, guys. Put my glasses on like Perry the Platypus. Phineas and Ferb.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Office Hours Unscripted. We're kicking off today with episode 4 of Life After College, What No One Prepares You
subject,
For.
yeah, big subject.
Yeah, it's a huge subject. I think just to kick us off, one of the things... Actually, before I get into the topic, do you want to talk about the question that we had for everyone? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the last episode, if you haven't already watched it, is 26 minutes. Granted, 2 of those minutes is us trying to fix Adam's microphone.
Let's not try and have that happen this time.
But we then had a debate, not a debate, that's harsh, of is 25 minutes too long or is 15 minutes too short? And if it is longer, should we have, templates for ourselves on the side, if it's like a notebook or a post-it note, so that when the end of the video comes and we give our takeaways, which we always try to do, we're able to remember the key points that we wanted to make, or that if we write it down that a point somebody else or that one of us makes, we can remember it to say at the end of the video.
Or quotes that we don't remember what they were because we don't all think about TikTok quotes as part of our daily lives.
I'm telling you, it's gold. You could just sit on like Hope Core or like Quote Core on TikTok, and I just that rivets me up. Besides the point. So that's the question we want to ask y'all who are tuning into this episode is 25 minutes for an episode too long? Is 15 minutes too short? Does it take away from the unscripted nature for us to have post-it notes or notebooks or our phones to write down things that we want to remember to say at the end of the video? Regardless of that, we're going to try for this one. So give us a pass on this one. Adam's holding, well, he's not holding it, but he's disguising his phone in the couch. But he's got decent points.
It has 3 bullet points, and I want to make sure we hit them. Because
exactly.
This is a
good topic. This is a really good one. This is where I think this might be the first episode where we actually identify like point in time.
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to try for this one. If you guys think it takes away from the nature, let us know, and we'll, full out abolish any note taking or any point remembering.
Watch, we're gonna get like an even split. It's
gonna be even. Yeah. We might keep it.
It's fine.
Hey, you guys might vote for it, but guess who owns the podcast?
Just as long as we get the table.
Yeah, donate and we'll get rid of it. If not,
all right, he's yapping too much. Anyway,
okay,
let's get into it. Let's get into it. So once again, life after college. I think there's a lot of things that people or like no one prepares you for. One of the things that, in my mind, college prepares you to take exams. It prepares you for deadlines. It allows you to make friends. Life after college, it's preparing you for uncertainty, and there is no way that you are going to be able to prepare for that. So I think that's what we're going to kind of spend today talking about. And I think the first point that I wanted to make sure that we kind of hit on in the conversation is, in college, you got a set of classes. I think most universities, at least in the U.S., are hitting you up with like Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes or Tuesday, Thursday schedules, right? Yep. And you're building out your schedule and you're saying, I'm going to do, these 4, 5, 6 classes, these 1, 2 extracurriculars, and then, I'm going to see my friends on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, whatever that looks like for you, right? And then all of a sudden, you get into the real world, you get your first job, that all disappears. Literally. The only thing that exists is show up if you're going in every day. Maybe you're showing up to the office. If you're working a hybrid or remote job, then you're showing up and getting on your device to connect to, your workplace platforms and all of those fun things. But everything else, well, that is kind of open to you, how you want to build out your schedule. Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to
that 9
cook?
to 5 adds up, yeah.
Are you going to, it's like you look at the hours after 5, if that exists for you.
Oh, yeah. It's 9 to 9, yeah, something like that.
9 to 9, 9 to 10, 9 to midnight, it depends. But, if whatever that looks like for you, you now have to determine, okay, am I going to go out and go to the gym? Am I going to go out and meal prep? Am I going to cook? Am I going to go make friends? Am I going to, it's the summer, am I going to go to, tennis classes or rugby, whatever I decide to do.
Once a month, once a week, whatever it is.
And then who am I going to do it with? Is this a personal activity? Is this a new hobby? All of these questions, they come out of nowhere. And for some people, maybe they've thought about this before and they're like, I got it. Maybe I got it like that. And then there's other people that this actually becomes a little overwhelming. You're like, whoa, I don't have anyone telling me or kind of putting it into a box for me so that it's already predetermined and I don't have to decide. These decisions, although, they can be small things and there's other things we'll talk about that are a lot more, meaty and weighty in your life, but they start to add up and you're like, wow, outside of my 9 to 5, what do I do? So let's start there.
I think that's a great point. And I'll add to it by saying I had someone tell me in college that likely how you treat your schedule, activities, etc. in college is a reflection of how you're going to treat them after. So to take away maybe from some of that anxiety or overwhelming, if you're listening to that and you're like, man, I'm freaking out now. If you're doing that now, it's likely going to continue after. And like Adam said, you might lose it at some point in between, right? You do have to relearn almost how to schedule whatever you want to do. Yep. But for sure, if you are on top of it in college, you will take some shred of that with you after. Even if you're moving, away, if you flop between jobs, and even like we joked, if it's not a 9 to 5 and you have a 9 to 9, you will find some way to squeeze it in there. I think you've mentioned a couple of times that like you can't go to the gym anymore 4 days, but it's at least 2. Yep. It's at least that weekend when there's like no excuse for you. Exactly. Or when you're traveling, maybe it's just 1. Yep. But you get the 1 in. So I definitely want to, ease the worry and anxiousness of maybe someone who heard that and is freaking out. If you have it now, you probably will take some shred of it with you after college.
I mean, he's nicer than I am. Freak out. Because, that's part of the process.
You should.
Being honest. Yeah, like, you should go through periods that are uncomfortable.
Of course.
And that is, like, you're going to have a flicker of those moments when you're in college. But then you get out of college and that flame just grows. It's like an inferno. You're like, holy cow, man, that's hot. Get that away from me, right? But I think, as I think about my life and, traveling consultant, working hours that are, are a little bit longer than 9 to 5. It really depends. And I tell myself, okay, like what are the things that make me me? Which kind of gets in my phone. Went off, by the way. The screen locked off.
We said we're experiencing.
I give up, right?
We're experimenting.
But the second point, I know what my second point was because it doesn't matter if it's scripted or unscripted. But
it's unscripted. It's unscripted.
It is unscripted. Anyway, the issue is that in college, and maybe it's not an issue, but at least what the system is designed for you to interpret is that in college you're a student. Yeah. In the real world, what are you? Yeah. You're you. But there's not really a label. Maybe if you're a firefighter, maybe if you're a firefighter, like your day job, you go by that title. Oh, I'm an accountant, or I'm a consultant. But is that really what makes us who we are? Yeah. No, right? It's how we fill our time. It's how we give back to the communities that we're involved in, things like that. But you have to start to answer that question. Well, who am I, and what are the right? But who am I, and what are the things that I find to be enjoyable, right? And I think about my life, it's like, okay, even with my busy schedule, I wanted to do this podcast. I wanted to start a clothing brand. I wanted to get in the gym, and I've made a bunch of friends from the gym, and I want to go out into my communities and volunteer every now and then. I'm from Philadelphia, so growing up here, giving back is like something that I'm super passionate about. We're going to have students come into the office next month, and those are things that I'm the first person to raise my hand, because that's what makes me me, right? And there's not any playbook, there is not any schematic, there's nothing that you can read online that is going to tell you who you should be and what you should do with your time. But after college, the answers to those questions come at you really fast. I mean, it's like you might take a week or two, maybe in a month to, and I think you're going to get into it about like, you know, the 8 months that you had after graduating before you actually got into it, until working. But you're going to go on that grad trip with your friends. You're going to go home and see your family and do all the fun stuff. And the next thing you know, you're going to start that job. You're going to be super passionate. And then you're like, whoa, how do I want to live my adult life? You're going to see people moving at different rates. Let me not jump the third point, but you're going to see people moving at different rates. You're going to be like, oh, well, what does my life look like?
To some degree, it reminds me of like, and we had these conversations in college, of course, but you start to redefine like what your values and your principles are, and that's really deep for what it is. I'm not trying to make it that deep. Obviously, you're asking the audience, like thinking about who you are, or you're telling the audience who you are. But it reminds me a lot of like, you do have to kind of redefine like, what are your values, what are your principles, what are you trying to do every day.
And it's okay for them to change.
Yeah, of course, but that's the thing. It's just like, that's how rooted it is in you, of like, now you are no longer a student. No. And that's a huge question to answer, and you probably have to change it a bunch of times or figure it out as you go. I think we joked a little bit about how, you know, you're in this cushion box in college of, you know, it's me and all my friends in one room, likely, right? You're really close to each other. And then, you know, college ends, and now it's, oh my gosh, my friend is 3 states away or 2 states away.
College is a huge, I won't say experiment, but it's a huge system that is going to help you socialize. It is socialization, you know, while you're obviously advancing your education, getting your degree, getting ready to be a part of the workforce for our country, right? But you are able to, at that point in time, say, hey, you know what? I want to do wine Wednesdays with my friends. I want to go out there. I want to go out to the bars, the clubs, whatever it is. You know,
assignments due in
Thursday,
2 days.
Friday,
It's
Saturday,
a light
Sunday,
assignment.
Like,
There's nothing.
Get it done on the weekend. But that changes when I can't call up Gabe and be like, yo, be at Champs in 15 minutes. Now it's, yo, Gabe.
Takes me an hour.
First you're an hour away. Also, our schedule's not lining up.
Yeah.
I think let's put a pin in it 3 months from now. Or your friend moved to the West Coast and you're on the East Coast. Hey, let's try to see each other once a year,
That's what we did for skiing. Adam texted our group chat with another friend of ours and was like, pencil it in.
Yeah.
Because like January wasn't working for any of us, and then like early February wasn't either. So he just threw it kind of dart at the board and was like, let's do this one.
And that's how the cookie crumbles. But it is very different than how we were living our lives for 4 or 5 years in undergrad and, you know, accelerated master's programs. Is there anything you wanted to add?
I think I actually was going to add to that, since we're talking about like showing up after college. Besides the point you were hammering on of like your schedule change, right? Like practically overnight. A big thing for me that was a shock after college was actually showing up for other people in my life. Sounds really deep again. That's not what I'm trying to make it. But I think the point I'm making by that is like, all my friends were several states away. Lucky enough that we were semi-close. I mean, it's still like an hour, but whatever. But we both have mutuals that are 2 states away. One is across the country. And you really have to think to yourself, if I have an opportunity to show up, I have to show up. So we were also joking way before you even recorded the last episode. Friends having a birthday party next week. It's about an hour 45, 2-hour drive, but it's late at night, and we both have things to do over the weekend or into the week after. So like, we've made the decision of probably like showing up the night of and just going back late the next day or early morning. So it'd be like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. when we got home. But the point
consolidate the cars.
Consolidate. But the point is like, that's the only time that we'd have to show up. And the point is like, if you have the opportunity and you can, even if it like might be slightly inconvenient and it just didn't work with your schedule or the things surrounding
Those are trade-offs.
Yeah, it's trade-offs, and it's just things that happen after college. Like, you genuinely have to make the choice to be like, I'm going to do it. And it sucks that it's in, you know, a month from now or it's a week from now, and it's going to be like practically overnight. I did want to slide that point in there of structure and schedule does change overnight. And it's not even that it changes, it's like it's drastically different in terms of when things happen now, because you may be able to keep some things consistent, but especially on the friend point or even like family showing up. I feel like now I see family way more than when I did when I was in college, because I was also away technically. But especially the friend point for me, like that's what changed a lot for me. I don't know if you want to move on to your next point if you had one. I know you've mentioned talking about the 8-month period. I don't know if that segues into the
so I think do the 8-month period.
Up to the 8-month period,
and then we'll go into the other point, because I think it is very different. But before you go on, it's super important to realize and just reflect that the dynamic is going to change all throughout your life. But And that period right after graduation, right after undergrad, it's probably, aside from, getting married and having a kid, that's probably going to be the most uncomfortable or drastic period of change within your life.
Oh, for sure.
And it's one of those things where you shouldn't be frightened. It is, you can be uncomfortable, you can be anxious, but to just embrace it and kind of like take it in stride. Because
take the hits.
I was like, I think about what is this 2026, about February, like I am very different now than I was May of 2024, right? And it's only 19 month difference, whatever it is. I can't do math at this point. It's 20 months, right? But I don't know. It's one of those things where like I couldn't predict that I would be in this moment. I couldn't predict that we'd be here sitting in this room having this conversation. But I leaned into,
you knew what was next, but you almost didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah. But you have to lean into it. Like you can't look and be like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah, whether
you
like it or not, it's gonna
come. Yeah. So just embrace it. Try to become as comfortable as possible. Yeah. But you wanna give it a
little I'll do. So I had an opposite experience than most people after college. I unexpectedly graduated earlier than I expected to. My job offer was for the year after I graduated, or several months after I graduated. So instead of me figuring out as I went, like most people, right, that would start ideally right after they graduated, or maybe like just 2 months after they graduated, I again was starting almost a year after. Roughly, it turned into 7-8 months. I almost said 6-7.
About to have that. Anyway.
So for me, it was like I graduated and I had all the time in the world. I ended up just doing like freelance consulting for small businesses, which worked out well, made me a little bit of pocket change, but it was such a small job that it was only like 3 hours of the day. Mm-hmm. So while all my other friends were working, even if they like didn't go, Big Four, MBB, and they were just doing regular jobs, I was still sitting there like, damn, I have nothing. So I had all the time in the world to be like, I want to start this, or I want to do this and this. But I think the big point I want to make, even when you have that much time and you think it gives you so much ground to like, I can travel during that period, which is true. You could travel, which I did. You might travel during that period. You might.
What bread?
That's a good question. It happened. Did I owe some people some money? Shout out, Mom. Even when you have all that time to travel or to lock in on goals that maybe you put on the back burner in college, that shock of still like I start a job and it changes still happens. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It does not matter. There's 7-8 months flew by, and I was now working, and I had my own struggles starting to work, realizing like I have to have some responsibility in like where I'm placed on projects. Mm-hmm. I was just not networking for 8 months, which was routine for us in college, and now I have to do it all over again to make sure I'm put in the right place in the places I want to be in work. So I think we wanted to note that to make the point of it's going to happen regardless, even if you have all this time off. And like you said, embrace it, put your best foot forward so that when it does come, you are as ready as you can be about it. So for the people that, maybe you are or aren't in college and you just realize that you're going to have some time to figure stuff out. When you do figure it out and you have to wait again, once that wait is over, it's going to happen regardless. Mm-hmm. So maybe keep yourself accountable of like, even if I have this X time off, Y is going to come, Y time on is going to come. And that's when it's going to happen for me. Exactly. Even if it's already happening for someone else, right? Like you were in the workforce, probably almost
6 months by the time you joined, right?
Yeah, it was almost a year. It's probably almost a year. Yeah. So I was getting, I was going through all the rookie things while Adam like had been through all that already. So he would call me stressing about his stuff, and I'm like, yeah, man, like I'm going to the gym now, and he's just like, I'm clocking in again, and it's just like now it's a little more reciprocated of like, I had a long week, he had a long week. Yeah. But I'll stop yapping and.
No, I think that actually segues perfectly into the last point, and in my opinion is the most significant point of this episode or this topic is everyone after college is going to be moving at different rates. Oh, yeah. They're going to be living drastically different lives. I know last episode we talked a little bit about, you look at people on TikTok and you're like, oh, my man's made $20,000 in a week and he's only 20. Like, I'm not doing that, or even if you are, like, everyone has different goals and ambitions, and the way that kind of plays out in your day to day is going to look so different.
You learn about things overnight too.
You learn about things overnight. Decisions, you learn about and you're like,
Instagram. You're just...
Yep. But I think that I think a lot, but it's less about do I want to do the same thing that someone else is doing, or I don't know exactly how my life is going, so am I behind? Let's stop. Let's not even. Comparison is the thief of joy. That's the one quote that I'm gonna use right here, right now. Right.
That's organic.
It is super organic. Yeah. Right. But you look at that and it's like, bro, if Gabe came out of college and was like, hey, wait, Adam's been working for 6 months and he's been living his life. Like, damn, bro. Like, am I behind? He could have started asking himself those questions. He didn't, because one, it's not productive, but two, you have to get into this cadence of saying, you know what? I have goals and I have ambitions and I have things that I'm striving to do to make my life meaningful. And there are other people that also have the same thing within their lives, right? Now, the question becomes, how do I continue to build on my life and my goals and ambitions while other people are doing their own thing? And how can we kind of mold that all together, right? The other thing that I wanted to say is, like, even when we look on the social media, and we look on the gram and TikTok and Facebook, for anyone who might be using that platform, right? You're going to see people doing wildly different. You're like, oh man, like last year, people were like, oh man, he traveled to 7 different countries. I want to live like him, right? Well, one,
I was working.
I was like out of 4,
he earned it for sure.
Out of 4 of those 7, I was working, and maybe that's a different conversation, like business travel versus leisure travel that we can do in the future. But if people kept comparing themselves to me and then actually lived their life, they might have said, oh, actually, I don't know if I really wanted every single part of that or every bit of that, right? So we look at ourselves and you need to say, hey, what do I want? And when someone else has something that potentially I want or I desire, one, is this a false desire? Is this something that I'm like, you know what? It just looks glamorous and it looks like it would be nice to have, but do I actually need it within my life? But two, if that is the case, how you get there, maybe it took them 1 year to grow and build that e-commerce platform that they have that's doing $500,000 in sales a year, and maybe it's going to take you 3 if you also want to build something different, right? But that is okay. And in college, everyone kind of has the same, within undergrad or bachelor degree, in 4 years you're going to get it done. Yes, some people are going to graduate a little bit earlier, whatever it is. Some people might do the accelerated masters and do 5 years. But now in life, people are staying in a job for 5, 10, 15 years. Some people are switching every 2 years. Some people are freelancing. Some people are working for a large organization. Some people are doing their own thing. And that's fine. And, for me, I embrace it fully. I love, I'll let you kind of reflect for a second on this point. But, getting to understand the world and people and different ways of life is probably, at least for me, the most engaging and compelling thing about life after college. So I'll pause there.
Yeah, I mean, now for some reason when you were talking, I started to think that, like, life after college, you like make it your own. You make it your own college, because it's, I mean, I'm not gonna go through the definition of what college means and stuff or whatever, but the point is like, you go from, I have structure of XYZ because of college. Now you're setting your own structure and your goals and the things you want to do after it. Like that, what it's ingrained in you to be in college, I think it travels with you after, where you seek some sort of consistency. You seek some sort of, things you're compelled to and are passionate about, even if they change. Like, some could argue that it doesn't really change at the end of it. Like you're just trying to reshape what you were experiencing in college now after it in life. So I think that for some, I don't know why it clicked for me that way, but it just did. And I think the point that's, or maybe the thing that's worked for me after college, I know yours is like, you start thinking about the world and people and what exists. I think it's the earlier point I made. It's like, I really did think after, especially during those 7-8 months where I was free, of what do I value? What are my principles? What are the things I want to keep consistent in my life? And, how can I do it amidst all the structure that's not there anymore and the things that change? And I mean, it's helped me get here. It might not help me get there, but at least for now, I guess it's a year that I've been out of college. It's definitely helped me to think about it a couple times. What are the things that are changing about me, and how does that shape what I want to do later? And is that something that I did in college and that worked? And if it didn't work, or if it did work, how does it change now? If it didn't work, how can I do it differently now? But that's what's worked for me. It's really just thinking about again, what I value, what are my principles, etc.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, if I had to sum it up a little bit, time might be linear, but life, there could be 5, 6, 7 thousands, millions of different roads and pathways that you take.
Tell me it's not a good TikTok.
After college.
Tell me that's not a good TikTok. I'm gonna snip it and put like dramatic music behind it.
But respectfully, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't particularly care. But you look at it and you say, you know what? All right, cool. In college, maybe I had 3 or 4 or 5 different paths, and now I have so many.
Yeah.
How do I start to pick and choose? And unfortunately, the answer that I have to give is it depends. But if I had to give a little bit of guidance to help with those choices, it's to pick what's comfortable for you. It's to pick what is most engaging, what is most interesting, what you find to be passionate about. Because the worst thing that you can do is say, you know what, I studied this thing for 4 or 5 years, or, as a kid, my parents really wanted to be X, Y, and Z, and I hated every single day. That is probably one of the worst things you can do to yourself. For longevity, and I know we talked about motivation, but to have increased levels of motivation, right? So start to find the things that you find meaningful, and when you find those pockets within those pathways, start to embrace it. Say, you know what, these other paths don't have those things that I'm passionate about, or the things that I care about, or the people that I care about. Obviously, we start to get into relationships, and people start getting married and have kids, right? Start to
Facebook becomes your best friend.
Yeah, Facebook,
it's like your local newspaper. Yeah.
But yeah, you start to go down those pathways, and at the end of the day, it doesn't mean it's the right choice. It doesn't mean it's the wrong choice. It's the choice that you made, and as long as you're at least for me, it's like, don't have any regrets. The minute you start to regret things, the wheels fall. Right?
I'm okay with regrets. I actually, the saying of like, what the saying, like, if you could go back and do it differently, would you? And like a lot of people say, oh no, like I love my life. And like, no, I'm doing it differently. Like, I'm going back. I'm buying Nvidia. Like I'm buying Bitcoin. Like I'm doing it differently. Sure.
Yes. Okay, maybe you're doing those things differently, but that's because hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, exactly.
We're looking the other way. It's how do I let my historical decisions continue to inform my future decisions? Mm-hmm. And that's that promotion, the growth. That's that constant learning. But if you're not doing that, life after college is going to hit you like a truck, and it's going to feel. It
makes it harder if you don't think about it. Yeah. I think I would say that's even the larger point of like the thinking you have. It's almost forced for you to think after college of if it if something didn't happen there that I want it to happen, or. Maybe there are people who don't go to college, and like I think it's even harder for them. I give more kudos to those people where they took a chance of like, I have no idea what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I go into a trade or I start my own business, and they really have to figure it out as it goes. But especially if you're in college, like you are isolated. You're in this literally Penn State is the middle of Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you don't think there's anywhere else in the world. And to your point, like you do have to put some thought, even if you've done all of the right things in college of, well, what are the things I want to do? What are the right things I have to do after the fact?
Yeah. And I know as we kind of come up at the end of the episode here, we talked a lot about, the professional aspects of our life.
Oh, yeah,
there's also like the personal aspects. I think we don't do a good enough job as people. I think maybe in some of our personal relationships we do, but as people, to kind of go and say, you know what? It's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? Like
rent, food, credit card.
Life, death, and taxes are the only things that are constant in life, right? No, but for real, like one of the things, and you know this, but not a lot of people know, is like last year, I felt like I really got comfortable with the whole, the old adage or that parents say of like, it's always something, right?
It's always that. It's that phone.
It's always something.
It's the phone, bro. It's the phone. I'm telling you.
But I had a moment within like three weeks time where I I got all 4 tires of my car stolen.
That was so funny. Can we paste that picture of his Honda Accord on the ground? The ground. It was hilarious.
I moved out of an apartment with a previous partner into a new place, and on the same day that I moved into the new place, I had to fly out to Switzerland for work.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Shout out getting the couch in here.
So, shout out getting the couch. One day you'll guys see the couch. This couch was the pain in our rear end. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are some of the other things in your daily life that you can't plan for.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the type of person that you are and how you respond to them. Each one of those could have been instant crash out, right? Instant crash out. But I mean, that's not the type of person I am, but that's also not the type of person that like I decided to be.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out, hey, who am I going to be and how am I going to respond to adversity? Because it's going to hit me professionally, it's going to hit me personally, and it's going to hit me in moments that I can't even categorize it as one of the two. It's just going to happen because that's life. So I think that's kind of like the parting piece that I wanted to put out there, just because we do tend to lean a little bit more young professional, but let's be real here.
We can leave it at that. I'll do takeaways this time.
Okay.
I know Adam started off with talking about structure changes overnight, your identity changes. I think I talked a little bit about, things are inevitable or that change is inevitable. Those are things I remember. Did I miss anything? Do you remember?
Just the last piece of
last piece, yeah.
Don't compare yourselves to other people.
Yeah.
I think there's just so many rabbit holes you can go down, and if we're trying to become the best version of ourselves, that starts within us. It doesn't start looking at everyone else. It doesn't start comparing ourselves to others. So as you can see, this is probably like the most fired up I've been about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, that was a hell of a fourth point. Do you want to end the video by saying what I always say?
No, you can say it.
He's gonna give me the torch. He's gonna.
He's got it.
My favorite part of every episode, as always, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Take care.